What up, everybody? So, the last video that I posted was stating that I have something special that's coming. That's still in the works, so I just need you to bear with me, but it's coming and I'm excited about it, so I hope you're excited too. Next thing I wanted to address, there was some questions that someone asked me on a previous video, so I wanted to go ahead and acknowledge those. One of the questions asked if there are any locations that are basically, off the bat you're not going to get. The time that we're in now, I will answer no to that question. If you would have asked me that about 4 years ago, my answer would have been yes. But now what's happening, there are a lot of officers that came in during a certain time. And that time that they came in, they're getting up towards their retirement years, as far as 20 years, putting in their 20 years. So they have the option of basically retiring, or they can keep going. But in preparation of that, CBP is going to need a lot of people. So those locations that were more like people consider retirement locations, it's a strong possibility that you may have a chance and it may open up. But just pay attention to when you're actually applying for the positions, what locations are listed on there, because those locations that are listed are typically the locations that would be available by the time you receive your final offer. Another question that was asked was if there's any work-life balance. And the work-life balance, I believe, and this is just my opinion, I think it's going to be based off of location. My location, for instance, in the Virgin Islands, we had a alternating work schedule, and with that alternating work schedule, we would end up with 4 days off back to back, and that happened about every 6 weeks. So during that time, it was nothing to state, okay, well, my 4 days here, I'm going to go ahead and take a trip. So that was amazing to have that 4 day weekend about every 6 weeks. But again, keep in mind, every port is different. So that's another thing. The other question that was asked is if the academy is like military style or more so like college level classroom. And I think it's a combination of both in a sense. I don't have previous military experience, but no one needs that. It's okay. And my background, I came from, when I got ready to join customs, I was working as an operations manager, managing a couple of dentist offices. So I don't think the academy is anything that's major. If you saw my previous video, you get a glimpse of it. It's not anything difficult. I think it's just a matter of you coming in and you just basically being able to take instruction. They want to see that you're able to take instructions, that you're able to follow directions, that you're able to basically have control in a sense. Are you going to be able to listen, or are you going to be able to control yourself? And that's going to be important in this field because it's law enforcement. So law enforcement, anything you think of law enforcement, you have to understand that you're going to be looked at differently. And the expectation for me, I feel like, should be higher. So the expectation of the things that you're supposed to do when you're dealing with other people is going to be at a higher level than anything else. So I feel like the academy is preparing you for all of that. The last question asked if they plan on moving up north. Now, moving up north, do you have to learn Spanish? And no, the answer to that is no. As far as the Spanish is really only a necessity for the southern border. And if you don't know Spanish going in and you choose a southern border location, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, but you will learn some Spanish because it's going to be necessary. But outside of all of that, those are the questions that I had. If you have any more questions, continue to drop the questions. I can address those as I can. Keep in mind that the questions that I always answer are things that I can answer because it's basically couldn't be considered something like public knowledge, something that you can find the information somewhere else. But what I'm just doing is I'm consolidating the information coming from also, and giving it from a perspective of someone that's already on the inside. That way you don't have to go and look for it. If I don't answer your question, that more than likely means that it's something that I could not answer. Something I do want you all to check out though, CBP has their own YouTube page. If you're not following that page, you should be, because I just looked at it yesterday and it looks like they post certain things such as while you're going through your process for employment. So I saw something about the interview. I know a lot of people ask about the interview. That's not something, well, we can't discuss what questions are asked in the interview, but that's something that people ask about. So if you're not following CBP's page on YouTube, I suggest you go on their YouTube page and follow their page, or at least look at it so you can get an idea of certain things. You might have some questions and they very well may have some answers on there for you. So I would suggest you take a look at that. Outside of that, oh yes, you see me with this pink hair color. I have officially retired from Customs and Border Protection at the end of July. So you see me with this color, that's because I no longer work for the agency. However, keep in mind that going into these colors and different things like that, just because you see me do it, you cannot do it going in if you're trying to get the job. So keep that in mind. But that's all that I have. Again, bear with me because the interview that I have set up is going to be a huge one, and so it's some little things that I have to get verified and make sure everything is okay prior to being able to get that released. But it's in the works, so bear with me. And if you have any questions, drop them below. And good luck with everyone that's already going through the process. And if you're just starting to go through the process and you're just interested in applying, start with my first video and then work your way from there. Okay, good luck. See you all later.